And good morning, everyone. Welcome to our virtual NetSuite User Group. We've rolled out the red carpet for everyone on this Friday. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us as we are going to go through an exciting, thrilling, exhilarating user group function. We're going to make accounting software so sexy this morning for everybody. I'm Aaron Rosenberg, and I am the CEO and a partner here at Oasis Solutions. And I am again very, very excited to be able to kick things off here. I've got some great team members that I'm excited to share with you what they have coming up, and an awesome sponsor in Brex, a fantastic corporate expense management platform that you're going to get all introduced to here as part of our content. It's a platform that Oasis uses and has helped us automate a ton of our corporate expense and travel. Start us off with a little housekeeping. Everybody's going to be on mute throughout the session. We do want your questions. We'll try to provide timely answers. If we can't answer something on the spot, then we'll get back to you, I promise, in a timely fashion, same day, or at least in one business day. We'll address any of the other questions that people might have. We'll have some time built in at the end of the presentations today for answering questions. If you need something urgently, you can't hear me, somebody needs to speak up, or you can't see the screen, please use the chat function, any technical issues, etc. We are using polls. We want your feedback throughout the presentation today. And then at the end of the presentation, we will also provide a survey. And that's what we really, really are looking forward to, is hopefully this is a great value for you, your organization. You learn something new. Maybe you want to follow up with us or get introduced to a specific demo with our partner Brex. So we'll have polls throughout each section. We'll have CPE credit if you're in need of that or would like to have that. You have to respond to all 4 polls and complete the end of the survey. So you guys have to pay extra close attention. And then at the end of the polls, based on that survey coming out, we have these really cool Oracle NetSuite Oasis co-branded JBL speakers. I have one and I love it. I've been using it a lot. It clips onto your backpack if you're an outdoors person, if you kayak or do anything like that. They're waterproof. You can stick them in the shower if you like to do karaoke in your shower, all that fun stuff. Today's agenda starts off with me, kind of a state of the union, just a brief overview of what's going on in Oasis and what's going on with NetSuite. Then I'm going to hand it off to my comparable teammate, Ryan Balzer, who's going to take you through one of the things that we're most excited about is field service management and the acquisition of the NextTechnic platform a couple years ago from NetSuite and the investments that we've made into becoming experts in the field service management space. From there, Ryan's going to pass it over to Brex, show you how to automate your expenses and travel, close faster. The integration with NetSuite is fantastic. Give you real-time insights into those expenses, as well as get some great corporate benefits from rebates and the things like that too, which you can enjoy. Austin, one of our other great teammates here at Oasis, is going to talk about the new release highlights and any deprecations, things that aren't going to be available any longer within the application. And then Pat Johnson is going to talk about AI and NetSuite. I'll give a little preview about that because we're so excited about the AI enhancements that are going on in NetSuite and where I think Oracle has a distinct advantage in the marketplace other than some other competitors based on the Oracle Cloud infrastructure that they own and operate on. And last but not least, Robin Hendrick, our NetSuite Client Success Manager, will be coming on and talking about how we help clients optimize beyond their software. And I think she has some special guest clients as well that have agreed to participate and talk about their experiences with Oasis. So Oasis at a glance, I know we have a lot of clients on the call. We might have some first-time people that have been exposed to Oasis as well. So we've been in the ERP space, helping clients select, implement, and support their core business management technology systems since 1991. So we're going on close to 34, 35 years of experience helping customers at the intersection of people, process, and the ERP technology space. We are headquartered in Louisville, Kentucky, but we do have clients joining us probably remotely from all over the US, and we've grown to around 45 team members as well. Those team members are what make Oasis tick. They are the people that provide the industry expertise, the consulting, the knowledge of the application, and how to translate that to your business problems. We have some former CFOs on staff, MBAs, CPAs, folks like Ryan. He'll talk about his experience, being implementing NetSuite at an organization and then coming through that and consulting. And we serve around 500 clients now across the country. So very proud about doing that. NetSuite is a portion of those clients. We have a Sage practice as well, which I think gives us a distinct advantage in the mid-market area and marketplace in a whole. So try to find that it's too big for QuickBooks and too small for maybe SAP or enterprise Fortune 500 companies, but that's a huge space in between where most of our clients live and operate. We have had the distinct opportunity and recognition to be a best place to work 9 years in a row. That's really important to us. That's a survey that we provide to our employees, and it's anonymous, and we want their feedback. And we continue to feel like if we have the best, most happy place to work and our employees are happy about coming to Oasis, then that's going to resonate for all of our customers as a service provider. We also just found out that for the 7th time, we're a Fast 50 company, and I'm really proud of that as well for all the hard work that our team members put into helping continue to make Oasis a growth-oriented company. That's a recognition for fast growth companies in and around our region. It's a 3-year look back on a revenue standpoint. So that's an amazing feat. As we continue to grow, the growth and incremental multiplier continues to get harder to achieve, but we continue to meet the bar as we raise it higher and higher. We also have some industry distinctions from top 100 value-added resellers for Bob Scott and Accounting Today, which put us in the right kind of class of our peers. And we were very fortunate to win 2023 NetSuite Growth Partner of the Year. So enough bragging about Oasis for now. This is our incomparable team. We continue to add and invest here as well with folks like our NetSuite Client Success Motion, our NetSuite team. So we work closely, of course, with the Oracle NetSuite team, led by Steve Mullen and then Matt Uritis. Blake Mize is our channel account manager. Our team at Oasis is led by Nancy Sutton, our practice manager. You'll see Ryan and Austin on this slide as well. And we continue to add more staff and resources there. It's a big investment area for Oasis. As we continue to grow the team, we're looking for some talented people right now. And one of those talented people that's going to come on next and talk about field service and give you an overview there is Ryan Balzer. So Ryan, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so you can share yours.
Excellent. Thank you, Aaron. Let me go ahead and get some things set up here.
Very
Just
welcome.
quick confirmation, everyone's seeing my slide deck there. All right. Well,
Yes,
good
sir.
morning. Good morning, team. As Aaron said, I am so excited to talk to you about a newer module that was introduced to NetSuite. As I'll tell you in my intro, I've been in this NetSuite ecosystem for a little over 12 years now. And during that time, there was always, for certain industries, there was always a little bit of a gap, right, that we needed to bridge within the ERP. As partners, we would usually go out and find third parties, right? Some of them were bolt on, some of them were third parties that we had to integrate with, right? But I think the exciting thing that we're here to talk about today is that's no longer an issue, right? Oracle NetSuite has bridged that gap. We no longer need third parties. Now it's just another module that we can turn on within the application. And of course, I'm talking about field service management. As way of introduction, my name is Ryan Balzer. I'm principal consultant and solution architect here at Oasis Solutions. Been with Oasis for a little over 3 years, but as I said, I've been in this NetSuite ecosystem for a little over 12. Like Aaron was saying earlier, both on the industry side and on the consulting side, I actually found NetSuite when I was working for a light manufacturer, 3PL company here in Columbus, Ohio. Uh, we're looking to implement a new ERP, picked NetSuite, implemented that, managed that environment for a little bit, got a little bored, and decided to leave the industry side and join the consulting side to help other or other clients leverage modern ERP applications like NetSuite. All right, so I don't have a ton of time this morning with you guys, but I do have about 25 minutes. So what are we going to be talking about in that 25 minutes? Well, first I have a couple of slides that I want to go through to really set up what we're going to look at when we dive into the application. First and foremost, what is field service management? How do I know if I need field service management? How can I qualify that as something that I might be interested in? And then we're going to dive into a couple of leading practice process flows. If everyone on the call here is probably a NetSuite client, so we're used to seeing those leading practice process flows probably during our implementation. Field service management comes with 3 out of the box, so we're just going to look at those briefly. But then we're going to dive right into the application and look at a live demo team. And really, of those leading practice process flows, I'm going to show you how to install, right? So once we sell a piece of equipment, how do we then schedule to get that piece of equipment installed? We're going to look at some records in NetSuite, such as the enhanced case record, the enhanced task record that comes with field service management. And ultimately, we're going to look at 2 new screens that field service management brings us. One is going to be that schedule or that dispatch board, right? So now that I have these jobs that need to be completed, how do I find the right resource and assign and dispatch out those jobs to my resources? And then ultimately, once I do that, what are my techs going to see, right? What are my techs going to leverage in the mobile application to actually complete the job when they're on site? And then ultimately, team, if there's any questions, please put them in the chat. We'd love to help answer your questions. All right. Qualify field service. Do I need field service? I can qualify that in 2 questions, team. The first question is, do you have assets that need to be maintained? Those assets could be locations, they could be property, they could be equipment, they could be nested site location and then different assets or different equipment that we have at that site, right? Do we have assets in the field that need to be maintained, be that repaired, installed, preventative maintenance, right? That's the first question. Second question, team, is do we have engineers or techs that we need to send out and complete that work, right? When one of our customers calls in, do we have to dispatch out a tech for break fix? So if the answer to one of those 2 questions is yes, then pay attention for the next 20 minutes. I'm going to show you some field service stuff in NetSuite we can talk about. All right, team. Leading practice process flows. Like I said, these should look familiar to NetSuite customers, right? We probably saw order to cash, procure to pay, right? Those leading process flows in NetSuite. Field service management comes with 3 out of the box schedule to install. So once I sell my piece of equipment, how do I then schedule to get that installed? Schedule to maintain. Maybe I sell a preventative maintenance contract, and maybe quarterly, maybe monthly. I need to. It's that reoccurring task that I need to assign out to my technicians to go and do some PM work on the equipment. Maybe it's break fix, schedule to fix. So maybe my customer emails in or calls in with an issue. The machine's down, it's broken. I need to be able to dispatch out a technician quickly to fix that. I'm not going to go through all 3 of them. The one that I'm going to go through, because this is the one that we're going to look at when we get to the demo, is scheduled to install. So once we sell the piece of equipment, how do we then do we then schedule a technician to go install it on site? So in this process flow, right, we start with opportunities, quotes, sales orders, and fulfillment. That's all core NetSuite, right? That's all stuff that we're used to. I'm going to skip that in interest of time, and we're going to dive right into after we fulfill and we've got the asset, that field service asset created. How do we then create the project and the task to be able to go install it? Once we create that task, we're going to jump over into the scheduling or the dispatch board, and we're going to assign that job out to a technician that might have the bandwidth today to go do it. Once we assign that or dispatch that job out to the technician, we'll jump into the mobile app and see what the technician could see in order to complete that job on a mobile application. And then ultimately, we'll see how all that information flows back into NetSuite. All right. Only had a couple slides, team. Let's jump right into the application itself. And as I'm switching up, now we should be seeing my web browser. I'm logged into NetSuite. I won't do my typical dashboards and navigation. We're all NetSuite users. The one thing I'll call out to your attention, though, is with field service, um, we have another menu option up in our top ribbon navigation. We have this field service menu where we can get to things like our configuration. We can run our scheduler board. We can run our mobile app. We can see some out of the box reports that come with field service, and we can look at all of our assets, for example. And then it lists project case and tasks here as well. Those are native records in NetSuite that become enhanced with field service management. All right, so where am I? I'm landing on a field service asset. So this is a new record type that field service introduces, and it's that field service asset. This represents either that piece of equipment or maybe that site in general. Of your equipment that you sold to your customer. So for example, this is a piece of equipment. I can see the customer is Ohio State University Hospital. I'm based out of Columbus, Ohio, and it's that time of year where we're all Ohio State fans up here. So in my demo today, I'm leveraging that. So we can see that we sold this to Ohio State University. We can actually link it back to our item masters in NetSuite. So we can see this is an MRI machine that we sold to the Ohio State University. I can see that this is an asset type of equipment, right? And I can see that it's actually nested. We can have parent-child relationships with our field service assets. So if you think about it, what if we have multiple pieces of equipment at Ohio State University Hospital? Our top level asset is going to be that site location, and then we can nest all that equipment underneath that top level parent, right? So we can create that parent-child relationship. And then we can have things like the address. Where is this asset located? It's got some geolocating that we'll see here in a minute when we jump into the scheduler in the mobile app. Okay, so in our scenario, we've already had the quote, the sales order, we fulfilled it, right? So we sent that asset out, and then we created that field service asset in NetSuite. From here, we have to schedule or create that job to have it installed. I can do that right from the field service asset record. I can hover over and I can create a new service order, case, job, whatever we call it internally. That is what we can um, name this record type. Okay, so NetSuite's going to create that job or that service order to go install it. It's going to pull over all the information, obviously, from the asset record. It pulls over all the contact information. So once our tech gets on site, they know who to go talk to. What type of case is this? Is this an install, maintenance, or a repair case? We're going to go ahead and do an install case here. We have the ability to create project records as well. So if you think about it, native projects in NetSuite help us accumulate multiple transactions for job costing. So maybe we have to do some AP bills and purchase some other stuff for this install. Maybe we want to track time and labor against this install so we can see how profitable we are. Right from this case or task, or job record, we can create either a new billable or a new non-billable project. And remember, project billing rules is what drives our invoicing rules, right? So is it time and material? Is it a fixed fee? Maybe we charge for parts, but we don't charge for labor, right? All that's going to be controlled on the project that we create for this install. I'm just going to create a new non-billable project for this. Okay, so we fill it out that we're going to create a new non-billable project. This is going to be an install job. And then we come down to our field service tab on the job record itself. So again, here's where we could actually assign it. If we had a specific tech that we knew had to go do this install, I could assign them right here. I'm not going to do that because I'm going to assign it when we get to the schedule board. I can put a start date or an end date. Maybe this is going to be a 2-day install and it's going to start today and it's going to end tomorrow, for example. Maybe I know there's specific skill sets that I need to do this install. Maybe I need an electrician. I need a tech that's an electrician to do this install, right? So I can select the skills that are going to be needed to perform this task. And once I have all my information, I click add, and you'll see it creates 2 tasks. one for each of the days that I said that this is going to take, right? So this is going to be a 2-day install. I create 2 tasks that I could schedule out. Um, Maybe it's only a 1-day install, and for the sake of this demo, I'm going to say it's just a 1-day install. So we'll start it and we'll finish it today. Now when I hit add, it knows just to add 1 task. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and save this record. And when I save this record, NetSuite is going to do a couple of things. The first thing it's going to do is obviously it's going to create a case, right? And this case record is what's going to start to drive that outbound or that scheduling process, because this case record is going to create, this case record is going to create a project, and it's going to create a task to represent that individual job that we have to do. There's a little process that runs to create those, so I'm going to give it a second to run here. We'll refresh this. We'll come back. Here I can see my project. Here I can see the case that it created, right? And then from the case record itself, I'll be able to see that individual task, right? That job, that single day task that I need to schedule out. So when I come down here, I can look at my related records. And I can see that task that then was created on the project. Here's my task. Okay, so what have we done so far? After we sold and fulfilled the sales order, we created that sales or that field service asset record. And then from there, we created the job to go and schedule it to be installed. I'm going to now jump over into the field service scheduler, or that dispatch board that I talked about earlier. All right, we're going to give this a quick refresh to bring in some new information. Once this refreshes, team, this is going to be where our dispatch occurs in the field service process. I'm going to walk through what we're looking at on this board. Probably the most visual thing that we see is this map down here. So you can see I can zoom in, and that geolocating that I talked about earlier will tell me and show me on a map where are all my field service assets, where are all the jobs or my jobs that need to be completed. In relation to that, where are my technicians, so I can try and find a technician that's close to the job that needs to be completed, right? So everything's geolocated, and I can see where they are graphically or visually on this map. If I condense this map a little bit, what we see here above the map, this is going to be our schedule board. So down the left-hand side, we're going to see all of our technicians. And in the middle, this is all the jobs that have been assigned to the individual technicians. Now drawing your attention all the way over to the right-hand side, we have 3 tabs: unassigned tasks, people filter, and then assigned tasks. So in our people filter, right? Actually, let's look at our unassigned tasks first. So these are all of our unassigned tasks that I need to find a resource to do. So you can see I have a couple of them. I have 3. The one that we just created was the one for today, the 29th of August. It's this bottom one right here. When I hover over that task, I can click on the icon to geolocate it so I know exactly where this is located. I also have the ability to see the skill set that's required to complete this job. So in order to do this job, I need an electrician, and I can see the due date is today. Okay, now I need to find the right dispatch person in order to dispatch out, or I need to find the right technician in order to dispatch this job out to them. So I'm going to drop down my people filter. So this is my technicians. I'm looking at a list of all of my technicians right now, but I know this job is in Ohio, and so I know that's in my East region. So now I want to look for only technicians that are in the East region. If you remember, I looked at that job, and I know it needs to be that technician needs to be an electrician. So I say, okay, show me all of my techs that are in the East region that have electrician as a skill set. And now I can start to see, okay, here's Catherine Glass. She's a technician. I'm looking at today, which is Friday, August 29th. It looks like she has the availability to go ahead and do that install for me today. So in order to assign this out to Catherine, all I have to do is take that job, right, from my unassigned tasks, and I drag it over to Catherine's line on my schedule board. And when I drop it, you can see it assigns it to her. Now my dispatch hasn't occurred yet. The actual the actual way that we dispatch out, once we've assigned all of our unassigned tasks to the appropriate technicians, we come up here in the top right hand corner. You can see I have this little save icon. Once I save my dispatch board, that is actually the dispatch action. So this is what then sends that job over into the mobile application for the field service tech to use in the mobile. Okay, so quick pause and reset. We had our field service asset that we created after we fulfilled the sales order. We created that install job because it has to go be installed on site, right? Once we created that job, we looked at our scheduling board, found the right technician with the right skill set in the right area of the country that had the bandwidth today to go and do that job, and we assigned it out to that technician, and then we dispatched it. We saved our scheduling board, which dispatched out all the jobs. So to kind of round out the process, now I'm going to jump over into the field service mobile application, which is going to represent what what our technicians would see when they log on to their mobile device in the morning. All right, so I'm jumping over here, team. So now we're looking at our field service mobile. You'll see this is, again, it's web-based, but it's also rendered to be very mobile friendly. So right now I'm viewing it in a web browser, but you can see very big icons, very visual, right? You can picture how easy this would be to use on a handheld, an iPhone, an iPad, something like that. When I log on in the morning, I can see some jobs that I've completed in the previous day. I can see jobs in the future, so my future jobs that are out there. And then here's that one, that install at Ohio State that I needed to do today. So this is my job for Friday, August 29th. If I want to see kind of a little bit more about this job, I can click on it, and in the map, it's going to take me. So it shows that I'm up here in Delaware, Ohio, and it shows me how far away the job is to my current location. If I'm on my mobile and I click on my navigation button up here in the top right-hand corner, it's going to launch my maps on my mobile, and it can take me there, right? So I can see the job, I can see some information about the job. When I want to start the job, all I have to do is click my start button, and when I click my start button, that opens up what we refer to as our checklist. And this checklist that we have in Field Service Mobile, this is customizable. But for the demo, I'm going to show you kind of some of the features and some of the things that we can do with those checklists. So I clicked start to start the job. You might notice that when I did, my start button then got timestamped at 10:28. When I complete the job, you'll see that my complete button will then get timestamped as well. So NetSuite can automatically track that time that our technicians are on the job. Maybe we have to split. Maybe our technicians have to split their time up between travel time and labor time, right? I have the ability in the mobile to record both travel or labor time if I wanted to. If I had to split that out, for example, maybe travel time isn't as billable, something like that. I can click on the asset detail tab and I can see some information about that asset, the type of asset, what item it's related to, maybe the serial number. Maybe we want to put lockbox information, right? Maybe the asset, maybe the technicians need to access a lockbox in order to access the piece of equipment. So that type of information we can expose here in the mobile app for the technician as well. Once I get on site, who are the folks I need to talk to? Right. So again, we can list out those contacts that we have on the site so my technician doesn't have to call in and ask for that information. Maybe when they get on site, we want them to do a job safety inspection, right? So they can click on here. Maybe we have to record whether or not they require any PPE or protective equipment, right? Um, Maybe if this is a break fix, for example, is there any isolation? Do we need to lock out, tag out the equipment, right? That sort of stuff that we need to record here as well. Of that safety check, what's the outcome? Did it pass? Did it fail? Right? So we'll say it passed. And we can put in some safety details as well. You'll see I'm typing these safety details out. The nice thing about field service management and the mobile application is our technicians are leveraging this screen. Sorry, our technicians are leveraging this screen in order to record this information. What does every iPad, mobile phone, have the option, it has that little microphone option. So rather than typing out this information on my phone, I can click that microphone option, and my technicians can then just speak into their phone to record their notes, right? Techs love that. Rather than having to type out notes on a handheld, they can speak the talk, right? We even have the ability to capture signatures, right? So we can have or capture signatures right on site there as well. When I'm done with my safety check, I click my check box and I complete that, and you'll see that um, the green asterisk or the orange asterisk next to job safety disappears, and it opens up the rest of my checklist that I can complete. Next it wants me to go and complete that install record. So what was the outcome of the installation? Was I able to? What are some notes? So some installation notes that pertain to this job, right? Again, I can use talk to type from my mobile phone in order to record these notes. I can upload images, right? So maybe I need to take a before and an after, right? So I can come in here. Sorry, I can upload or I can take pictures and record a before image and an after image. I'll show you then how this gets tracked or how this then becomes referenceable, right, in the ERP, right? So before and after pictures that I can take. When I'm done with my install record, I'll hit my checkbox and it'll create that install record for me. All right, what happens if we get on site and we need to pull some stock or some inventory from our van to use on the installation, right? From the mobile application, I can pull stock and use it from my van, for example. So from my sales order tab, all I have to do is click the plus and I can select what is it that I had to use. Maybe I had to use a battery. Maybe this is a serialized piece of inventory. I need to select what serial number I actually utilized, right? I can add multiple um, pieces of inventory if I want as well. So now you can see I'm building out what type of inventory I consumed from my van during the installation. Again, once I'm done with that, I'll go ahead and hit save. You'll see that actually creates a sales order and item fulfillment back in NetSuite so that from an inventory standpoint, right, we're able to maintain our proper stock levels in our technicians' vans. Right, so created job safety, install record, created a sales order for all the consumables that I used while I was on site. I can see the history. So this is an install. There's not a lot of history here, but if we think, what if this was a break fix, for example, I could come here and I could see details of maybe all the other maintenance records or break fix records that I've had for this piece of equipment previously. Ultimately, I can come here to my job status and select whether or not I was able to complete the job, or maybe I need some additional parts. I need to come back later, for example, right? For our demo, I'm going to say we went ahead and we were able to complete that job. Once I say that the job was completed, that's going to open up the job completion and status. So again, who was the on-site contact that we talked to for the install? Let's go ahead and get a signature, right, from the from our on-site contact to verify the install was done. In case you guys couldn't tell, I was a doctor in a former life, so my signatures are a little sloppy. Who was the technician that performed it, right? Maybe we had a team of technicians, but one is signing off, one is verifying that the job was done, right? And again, get their signature as well. Once I'm done with my job completion and signature, I'm going to go ahead and hit my blue check mark again. And when I do that, I will have completed all of the necessary or required steps in my checklist to go ahead and complete my job. Right, I do have the ability to create expense reports right from my mobile, upload other files, for example, from my mobile. I can even create ad hoc tasks and assign them out to other technicians or other teammates if I need to right from my mobile. But again, for this demonstration, we'll go ahead and say that we got the job complete. So I'm going to go ahead and on my mobile application, go ahead and mark that this job was completed. When I do, you can see that it timestamps it at the time that it was completed as well. All right, team. So we had our field service asset. record. From the record, we created the job to go install it at our client site, customer site. Once we had that job schedule or created, we went to our scheduler, our dispatch board, to find the right technician with the right skill set, with the right bandwidth to go ahead and install that today. Once we dispatched it out to the technician, then we saw what that technician would see in the mobile application when they log on in the morning and how they would complete that checklist to then go ahead and complete that job. If I jump back over for a second into NetSuite, I'll round this out and show you how all of that stuff now lives in NetSuite, in our core ERP, because this is just another module that we're turning on in the ERP. It's not a bolt-on, it's not a third-party application. Because it's just another module that we turn on, all that information is now held here in core NetSuite. So here's our service order, for example. Here we can see this is that sales order for those consumables from our technician's van. We have that here. We can see from our field service install, we can see that install record that we created in the mobile application as well. Jump over here, we'll take a look when this record loads. So here is that install record, right, that we created. Remember when we uploaded those images, right? So we have the ability to, now we have all those images that we captured right here in core NetSuite. We have all the notes, we have all of that information now within the core ERP. So team, this was just a little taste, a little taste of field service management. As Aaron said, we here at Oasis, we've put a lot of investment into this module to really spin up some strong experts on our team in this application. We are already helping some existing clients leverage this technology, as well as helping some clients or newer clients that have implemented field service management. If any of this resonated with you, if any of this looked interesting, if you want to talk more about this, or maybe you want to see some more, please reach out to anyone at Oasis, reach out to Robin, and we'd love to schedule some more time to talk. So that was my portion of the demonstration of the user group today. I'm now going to turn it back over to Robin for the first poll question.
Hi there, you all. Excuse me. Thank you for listening into this field service management. Pulling up the first poll question now. Which of the following is not a field service management leading practice process? I see people are starting to select options. So order to install, order to maintain, order to accounting, and order to fix. Watching that order to accounting continue to increase.
Robin, I'm going to jump in here and interject really fast. If you joined us late, I know Aaron was going over. If you want to answer the poll questions today, there are 4, and there's going to be a survey at the end that we're going to share when you sign off. You'll also have a chance to complete the survey and a follow-up email that goes out from Robin too. If you want to enter to win a JBL speaker, complete all 4 questions and the survey. And I'll let Robin continue.
Yep. So just to make things a little fun, I'm going to find some fun glasses and figure this out. Turning our field service management glasses on. All right, looks like we have the majority of people have marked it as order to accounting. We are going to share our results. And are they showing which of the following is not? 78% of you selected order to accounting. Awesome. So coming up next, we have Austin. Austin, if you don't mind sharing your screen.
Sure thing.
Popping up there. Austin is one of our senior consultants and solution architect. We're going to walk through the release information with Austin. So go ahead and take over.
Awesome. Thanks, Robin. Good morning, everybody. My name is Austin Pretch, senior consultant and solution architect here at Oasis. I've been at Oasis for almost 2 years now, but in the NetSuite space for 8 years. And today I'm going to talk to you about the new release information for 2025.2. So as you know, NetSuite releases new features twice annually. And with this release, there's a lot in the mix. There are literally hundreds of new release features. But what I've done today is just picked out the top 7 that I think you're going to notice and care about the most. And I'm going to wrap up with a couple of notable just end of life deprecations that you should take note of if you haven't already. So we'll jump into it. All right, so starting off with our first enhancement, we have near match duplicate detection. So this one's really all about data quality. And, for a while, NetSuite's had duplicate detection. So for think about your customers and vendor records, the problem with it is it required that those entities have the same name, same email in order to work and flag. But now with some AI capabilities, it recognizes near matches. So if there's small spelling differences, small variations in the records, it's still going to catch those. So if you're creating a record, a new customer or a new vendor, what's going to happen is you're going to have a little banner at the top, and that's going to warn you with the option of to either merge or just fix that entry before you save it. And that's just going to be a huge time saver for anybody that's constantly cleaning up the customer or vendor lists. Next, we have multiple sessions per user. And this one is a huge quality of life update for our power users. So NetSuite now lets you stay logged in with up to 3 active sessions at once. So what does that mean? That means you can have production open, sandbox open, and maybe a whole nother NetSuite instance open, so long as you're using that same login email address, all at the same time without being booted out. So if you're an admin or a power user or a consultant like me, this is a huge win, because if you're comparing production and sandbox frequently, this is going to be a game changer. So in addition to that, there's also a new active session page that's going to be added. So you can see what sessions you currently have open. And if you want to, you can close the old ones. Having 3 sessions can be a lot to manage, I guess. So they have that new page, and you can close the old sessions should you need to do that. Next, we have bin put away CSV. So for the warehouse users out there, anybody with a warehouse and uses bins, this is big. This is not exclusive to NetSuite WMS. So what you can do now is bulk assign items to bins using the CSV import assistant. So before, if you had a bunch of items that had bins turned on, but you needed to assign them to a bin, somehow they weren't already in a bin, you use that bin put away worksheet. You can now use a CSV import to assign those bins. So use case I can think of is reorganizing bins, or if you're onboarding a new warehouse, instead of manually updating those item by item to each bin, you just drop that CSV file in and it loads it in. So this is a huge efficiency boost for inventory teams. Next, we have the service tier dashboard. So again, this is another win for the administrators out there. This effectively also can save your money, or your company some money. So NetSuite now gives you a service tier dashboard, and this allows you to see all of your transaction lines, user licenses, and file storage against your NetSuite account limits. So the benefit here is, instead of waiting for NetSuite to come to you and say, hey, you've hit a ceiling, you're out of storage, or you need more users, you can kind of proactively watch that on this dashboard. So this is really a great planning tool for preventing surprises. And I think a good way to use it is, if you have let's say you have a script that has hundreds of transaction lines or custom records that's taking up a lot of your tier, this would be a good way to expose that. And then you can go in and see if we could help you trim the script up, or if there's a solution that could be trimmed so it doesn't take up as much governance units. This is a good way to identify that as well. Moving on, we have Customer 360. So if you're viewing a customer record, you have that button at the top of the page that allows you to view the 360 dashboard. So some new features there. So NetSuite has added a new log of all of your customer interactions. So any transaction, email, task, note, activity, any touch point you're having with your customers now appear chronologically on that dashboard, so you can see the last interaction or any type of engagement you've had with that customer all in one single place. So that's really just a great way to keep tabs on customer health, and keeps all of your departments interacting with that customer on the same page. Even better, if you click into it, it actually drills into a new Suite Analytics workbook, so you can see all of those interactions in one single place. And so In addition to just better visibility, you're not having to bounce between a bunch of saved searches, and you get a full, clear picture of that customer. When was the last time you engaged with it? And yeah, that's going to be a huge time saver as well. Moving on to our deprecations. Actually, I got one more slide before that. So for our WMS and supply planning users, there are a ton of new features. So I personally sat in on the release notes call for this that Oracle held. I don't have time to cover them all. So if you have any of these features, I'd honestly just encourage you to reach out to us because there's a lot going on. So starting with Smart Count, if you're using Smart Count in NetSuite, you now have the ability to block bins so nobody puts product away during the middle of a cycle count. For those using WMS, there's some new pick task filters that you can use. So you can filter pick tasks by item group, filter by bin zone. So that would only give a user in zone A to go pick from. And you can also filter by item commitment status for picking. So this is ultimately just going to make it a lot easier to assign picking logically and reduce wasted steps, both physically on the ground in your warehouse and just systematically as well. For those using supply planning MRP, there are some new action type filters that have been added as well. So now you can see orders that should be canceled, see orders that could move up sooner or pushed later with filters. So you can see all of those at one time. So that's going to be nice as well. All right, now moving to end of life deprecations. So the old netsuite.com data source for Suite Analytics Connect is being retired in 2026.1. So NetSuite's been talking about this for a little while now, but this is kind of a last reminder. If you have any ODBC or Excel reports that are still tied to that old connection, they're just going to stop working. So I encourage you to take action now, and you need to migrate to the netsuite2.com data source as soon as possible. Like I said, they've been talking about this for a while, so you may have already done it. But if you're not sure, I would encourage you to reach out to us and we can verify for you if you're not sure how to do that. Our second end of life is a note on RevRec journal entry APIs. So the debit and credit lines in the RevRec journal entries are now read-only in SuiteScript and REST. So in the UI, they've always been locked, so you can't modify those lines, but scripts have previously been able to change those lines, but that is a loophole that's now being closed by Oracle. So if you have any custom scripts that touch those fields, they're going to break. So definitely test those. If you don't have a new release preview account, I would encourage you to get that. Test it before your production upgrade. And again, if you have any questions at all, just reach out to Oasis and we're happy to help take a look for you. All right, so just to wrap up, there are 100 new features, but I tried to pick the top 7 for you. Just don't forget the 2 watchouts. So Suite Analytics Connect and RevRec API restrictions. Test. If you have questions, reach to us, but a lot of exciting things coming to NetSuite. And we're going to wrap up with a poll question here. So Robin, if you want to take it back.
Yes, thank you so much. Austin, thank you for that great presentation. Starting this next poll, we're going to talk about how does your team handle duplicates today? 4 options. We don't. Duplicates live on. Manual search and manually search and merge, save searches or scripts, and third-party tools. Go ahead and launch that one. It actually looks like our poll two. There we go. We're going to switch polls real quick to poll number 3. So how does your team handle duplicates today? Again, we don't. Duplicates live on. Manual search, merge, save searches or scripts, and third-party tools. I found some Minnie Mouse ears. Are not quite a tuxedo that Aaron was wearing, but bringing a little fun to this virtual user group.
Yeah, I was wondering if those were Minnie Mouse ears. Those were mouse ears.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I didn't see a mouse the other day, but I was driving home from work. I'm in like a residential area, right? And I saw a wolf.
Interesting. A real
Yeah,
one?
and Emily, my wife, she said, "Where?" And I said, "No, just the regular kind."
I missed that one.
I said, Emily, I saw a wolf. And she said, where? And I said, no, just the regular kind.
Oh, werewolf. Got it. There we go. Dad joke. We love those around here. Full of them. Okay, it's looking like we have most of our participants answering, and it seems like we don't. We let duplicates live on. And the other big answer are manual searches. So would love to talk to you guys about that and the different options that there are to handle duplicates. Up next, we have our incredible partner, Brex, that will be hopping on to explain this tool that has made a huge difference for our company at Oasis and several of our clients when it comes to corporate cards and expense management. So looking forward, we're going to let this go ahead and screen share with Samantha Parkman.
Yeah, sure thing. Thank you so much. And I love those ears. Very cute. Hi, everybody. I'm Samantha Parkman. I'm a global enterprise account executive at Brex, and I work with our largest deployments of both our corporate card solution and expense management solution for our customers. I have my teammate Chelsea with me today, who's going to give you a sneak peek of how this looks in action. But I'll go ahead and share my screen. Hopefully this is working fine. Excellent. Just did my intro. So does everybody here have a corporate card in their wallet? Maybe it's an Amex, maybe it's JP Morgan, maybe it's Bank of America, maybe it's a Brex card. Does anyone have a Brex card in their wallet? Yep, that does. Okay, very good. Okay, well, does that corporate card automate your expense reports? I don't know, but Brex does. If it's a Brex card, the answer is yes. But if it's not a Brex card, it probably isn't. So we'd like to leave with the fact that we are the smartest corporate card on the market today. Brex is really uniquely positioned in the market because we are a fintech. The fin part of the fintech is a financial services product, our corporate credit card. And the tech component of the fintech is the software that we actually built around the corporate card. So if you really think of the landscape of card and expense, cards are typically coming from traditional banks, legacy bank programs, banking relationships, et cetera. And expense management is typically a standalone product that is maybe connecting to those cards. Maybe it's a standalone reimbursements product, usually grouping expenses into expense reports, et cetera. And then obviously integrating back into NetSuite for reconciliation. Now, why is Brex so unique? It's because we marry both the card and expense into a more modern software-enabled platform that unlocks a lot of automation and end user ease. So basically, the card infrastructure itself is owned by Brex. We went to market with the corporate card, and we provide large credit limits based on the financial health of businesses rather than credit worthiness or requiring collateralization. So the way that we actually provision credit limits is very differentiated from a traditional bank, all the way through actually using the card, which has a layer of software around it that unlocks for a lot of different spending use cases. And so we've been in business for quite some time. I've been with the company for about 6.5 years, and really proud to say that we work with some incredible logos that you can see on the screen here today: Carta, Airtable, SeatGeek, DoorDash. Fun fact, we brought SeatGeek's month-end close reconciliation from 2 weeks down to about 4 hours. So they've used a lot of our post-spend automation to uncover a lot of efficiencies. And I'm not sure if they're a NetSuite customer, but they might be able to look into it. That said, typically expense management is more reactive than proactive. So in the structure I mentioned earlier, where you have a separate corporate card with a traditional bank, you have a standalone expense management tool that folks are filing reimbursements in, and then you're reconciling all of that through to NetSuite. There's a lot of dependencies. You're waiting for folks to actually submit an expense report. You're not really sure if that expense report is going to be compliant. That's a big question. There's a lot of post-spend reviews once that expense report is actually submitted, and Lord knows when those transactions in that expense report were actually taking place. Some folks actually file expense reports months after they're supposed to. So it's money that's left the building months prior, and then you don't really have real-time visibility into that spend until that person is actually filing that expense report. Not only that, but then once you find expenses that might not be compliant, then there's a lot of back and forth between your finance team, between the actual managers, the actual employees, and it causes a mess and downstream delays. And then, of course, downstream delays in reconciling back into NetSuite. And so the way that Brex thinks about this is we turn it around into a more proactive solution. And so because we have the smart corporate card that we encourage folks to actually deploy across their entire organizations with confidence, rather than doing reimbursements. Of course, we can support reimbursements as well, but the magic here is you're able to embed your corporate card policy into the card before people use it. Brex is built on the MasterCard payment rails. And so we actually get enhanced data sent to us by MasterCard in real time and also post-spend. So while someone has a Brex card in their hand and they're swiping, we get instant real-time access to the merchant category code. Of course, everyone's familiar with an MCC code, but also the merchant name, the person who's swiping, and the total that's being swiped. And we can take action against policy in real time. So if you've got your sales rep out there potentially going to an entertainment venue that they shouldn't be, and that's been flagged as an out of policy transaction, in real time, we can decline that transaction so it won't go through. Inversely, we can create cards that only allow specific vendors to be used. So the use cases are quite endless here with all the upfront controls we can put into the cards. And then naturally, the spend that flows through the cards is going to be much more compliant than your typical expense report. And then you get to unlock that real-time visibility. And so you're essentially controlling spend proactively. You're deploying corporate cards across your organization with confidence, knowing that there's policy built into them. You're not giving them a card that has a limit that they can go and use anywhere. There's a policy, there's tech. There's also a slick mobile app that makes it really easy for folks to use. I literally don't save my receipts anymore because of the data that MasterCard passes to us. We can auto-generate receipts for the majority of vendors. And then the post-spend reconciliation, which is my favorite part here that Chelsea's going to start talking about in a minute, is quite automated as well. Because of that enhanced data that MasterCard sends to us, because we have tens of thousands of customers whose data that we're always learning from, we're able to auto-categorize transactions, auto-code them, auto-generate receipts, connect to G Suite calendars, automatically add attendees to a dinner, say that they were there, essentially eliminating expense reports, auto expensing transactions by line. And if everything is smooth and compliant to your policy, that thing is ready for reconciliation. So now you're managing by exception rather than managing by expense report and dealing with all of those downstream delays that we're so used to. So you're going to control spend proactively, increase your spending power because, spoiler alert, these cards do come with rebates and those rebates do go back to your organization, and automate busy work post-spend. Lastly, we are a global card program for all spend use cases. Brex is the most global fintech on the market today. And what I mean by that is we've invested hundreds of millions of dollars to be able to provision these cards in local currencies, onboard global entities, and actually be able to empower our customers to pay their bills in local currencies, VAT tracking, all of those fun things. And so we truly are a global program. And we can be a standalone card program that embeds into other spend use cases. So not only do we have our full suite of card and expense management that I was really highlighting just now, but also we see organizations embed our cards into a NetSuite to actually process vendor payments, because we can spin up one-time use virtual cards for payment processing, all the way through mirroring a PO-like process with requiring folks to request the ability to spend on a card rather than having a card that has a limit that they can use anytime. The list goes on, right? Like you can use these cards for any type of use case because of the technology investment that we've made in the cards. Very differentiated from a traditional bank card, very differentiated from very different from a traditional reimbursements expense management platform. We are truly a global all-in-one solution. So how does all of this reconcile back into NetSuite? I think my friend Chelsea here is going to hop in and help us out.
Thank you so much, Samantha, for that amazing overview. And I will share my screen and continue to share. So Brex plugs into NetSuite very seamlessly. This is, connected via a suite bundle. So very plug and play. In my previous life, I actually sat on our implementation team here at Brex, and the initial setup was typically about 15 minutes, which is pretty crazy as far as an integration goes. It was wonderful to get people so connected. And the idea here, right, is with all that automation up front that Samantha was talking about, is one, we're getting a lot of compliant transactions right off the bat flowing through to this accounting tab where our accounting teams are going to actually review transactions and ensure that they're classified correctly before hitting NetSuite. And then also be able to take action on those, on any transactions. Once connected to NetSuite, we're going to bring in all of the different classifications that you could want. That's going to include, the default ones, such as like locations, departments, employees, vendors, but we also support custom segments, custom fields, as well as custom records. So as far as what you can bring in from NetSuite to Brex to leverage for classification, sky is pretty much the limit. We do sync over that information automatically on a nightly basis. So there's no like manual syncing required. You can do a push though if desired. Say you update your projects or something and you want to go ahead and get that immediately into the platform, you can always refresh that as well. We do also sync in amortization schedules. This was one of our most recent releases, so that is possible in our platform as well. We can export in multiple forms. So we can export as a journal entry or a credit card transaction, as well as vendor bills and journal entries for our reimbursements. And you can also choose to batch, whether that's going to be a daily, weekly, or monthly batch for our journal entries or an individual transaction for each journal entry. To be clear, though, we're never going to aggregate your data. Every transaction will always be its own line entry to ensure that you get the best reporting possible. We also have automation built into our platform. So as we pull in all of these amazing, fields from NetSuite that you already have set up, we're going to suggest mappings for you to make this process very easy and seamless. So for instance, here we're recognizing that the vendor LinkedIn matches the merchant LinkedIn that we already have in our platform. And we're going to go ahead and suggest that mapping for you. You can accept these in bulk, and we will continuously do this as you use the platform and as we're pulling in new vendors or any other records from NetSuite. And so the idea here really is that as transactions are hitting this accounting tab, the hope is that they will be fully classified for you and that you're not going to have to take any sort of manual action on them. But in the event that you do, right, especially as you first start using the platform, we make it very easy. So you can come in and say, all right, I know that these actually need to hit a different GL account. So I'm going to go ahead and make that change here. And we'll give you the ability to batch update all selected transactions. You can also customize this view to make it, fit your workflow. So you can toggle on and off certain columns. You can also drag and drop to reorder. So maybe I want to be able to see that spending entity. I can go ahead and pull this up here so that I can readily see it and make that a little bit easier for me. I also love that you can search for different transactions, or my personal favorite is filtering by the compliant transactions. These are often the ones that are, ready to be exported over into your ERP. So we can go ahead and export those en masse. So that's my personal favorite. But you'll also see that we have the ability to prepare as accruals or prepare as actuals. So in the event that you are waiting on a memo or receipt or some other action to be taken on an expense, you can prepare an accrual to go ahead and get the books closed so that you're not waiting on or you're not harassing your employees for those memos and receipts. We know that, accounting is hard enough, so we don't want to make your jobs harder and having to chase down employees for those things. Now, once you've prepared the transaction, it moves into this review tab. You'll see that the transaction is now locked because at this point, the accounting team has given it that first level of review. And we do include an audit log within each transaction. You'll see any action that's been taken on that expense, whether it's an approval or any sort of mapping changes that have been made. In the event that you notice an error, though, you can always send the transaction back to prepare so that you can make additional changes to it. But optimally, you could come in here and export. This is a direct export. We do always offer the CSV as well, just in case, but everyone loves a direct export when possible. This will sync in the background for you. And we do maintain an export history, so you'll see all of your successful exports. And what I personally love is that we will include an ERP link for you. So once that transaction has successfully exported, you'll get a link directly to it in NetSuite. Now, what this looks like once it comes over, I've got a pretty basic example here. Again, this is a journal entry, but we support journal entry, credit card charges, reimbursements can sync over as bills as well. We do also have a bill payment module in our platform, which we sync over as bills and bill payments. We also have a Brex Pay module where you can initiate bills and have those be paid out through Brex. So lots of different options as far as how you can use our platform. But you'll see, the debit and the credit. The memo is fully customizable, so we're going to include the memo that the user entered within Brex. We can also provide the merchant name, so in the event that you didn't have vendor mapping or you didn't want that vendor at the line level, maybe it's a smaller restaurant or something like that, you still get that level of detail for auditing purposes. We can also provide the name of the user, the last 4 digits of their card, and the posted date, and then any of the classifications as well that were assigned at that transaction level. We'll provide a receipt URL. This is stored indefinitely, so we don't ever delete your receipts. And then also a created from link that will take you back to that transaction in the Brex dashboard. Again, like I mentioned, we do support those custom records, custom fields, and custom segments. So this is a pretty, basic example, but there's so much more that you can add to these entries as well. All right. Thank you so much. I will stop sharing and I will turn it back over.
Thank you so much, Chelsea, for that incredible presentation. We have our next poll, so going to launch that one now. Ask you guys some quick questions, see what we can get. And that next poll question is, if you could automate one NetSuite financial process tomorrow, what would it be? Quickly, I'm seeing expense management and reconciliations and reporting all happening on there. While you guys are answering that, I did have a quick joke for you. Aaron, are you there? Brian, can you pop on real quick? Because I need to, do you know why the Scarecrow won an award?
Robin, why did the Scarecrow win an award?
Because he was outstanding in his field. I got excited. It's fall, Labor Day weekend, so had to find a quick fall joke there.
and the beauty of that one is that you didn't need to explain it. The best jokes don't need explained, right?
Yes, yes.
There you go.
Yes. So found my princess tiara in my toddler's wardrobe, working through all of our dress up era. Looking at this poll question now, it looks like I love that, Nicole. If you could automate one NetSuite financial process tomorrow, what would it be? And it is looking like reporting and analytics, reconciliation, expense management are all items that are important and priorities to you all. So thanks for sharing. Up next, we've got our one of our partners and Chief Operating Officer, Patrick Johnson, who's going to speak about AI in NetSuite and what's coming up. Pat, it's all you.
Hey, everybody, thank you for being with us today. I got a couple of words to say about artificial intelligence. I'm going to share my screen up here. Bear with. My team can confirm they can see it. I'd be grateful. Hopefully that looks good.
Got it.
So, hey, thank you. You all, no jokes here. This is serious business. AI is serious business. I'm just kidding. But it is important to have a serious approach to how you lead your business and engage AI as it is emerging. I want to talk about 2 things today in my little segment. One, of course, how AI is evident and working inside of NetSuite. But also I want to talk about a strategy for embracing AI. Let me flip the slide here. Of course, it's everywhere. It's on the automated attendant. It's on the chat that pops up in every website you can think of. It's all around us, and really, it's all around in your business already. So Oasis thinks that's the mindset we've got to approach. That it's among us already. It's time to embrace it and create strategies. I've heard the analogy that AI is like a baby tiger today. And it's much easier to create a relationship with the baby tiger and have a lifelong relationship when it's a baby to start with, rather than when it's grown, next week or next month or next year. It is growing and expanding so fast, it's hard to keep our arms around it. We think you need a clear strategy. And Oasis has adopted a strategy that we're in the midst of today. It's an ongoing journey, of course. It'll never end probably as this continues to expand. But we've come up with a number of steps here. This isn't new, and there are many approaches to engaging AI, but we felt like there needed to be an organized approach. Some of these steps we've taken already, and some of them are still emerging and developing in our organization. So, of course, understanding AI, getting your arms around what it is and how it works is super important. So engage the baby tiger while it's still little and malleable, and you're able to understand how it could potentially help your business or create a competitive advantage for your business. What does all of this look like to your business today? And what are the maybe is the risk profile around adopting AI technology today to your business? What's the risk to your business? What's the risk to your clients, maybe that you connect with and interact with? Oasis created an AI charter probably a year and a half ago, which we'd be happy to share. There's nothing special about it, but it does define what our intents are, what we understand AI to be, what our intentions of it with it are, the risks that we know of today, and the steps that we're taking to mitigate those risks, both for Oasis and our clients. The next step is to engage it, is to say, where is it in our organization already? Oasis knows that different folks around our organization use it for different reasons. Some more critical than others. Some create content with it. Some proofread themselves or check on data sets, different things like that. Identify and nail down the exact tools that are being used. Is the chat GPT that someone's using on the open, is it out in the open? Meaning if I do a search there, is that search now open to everybody on the World Wide Web? And so once you've done that, then you can sort of identify where is this adoption helping the organization? Where is it delivering the most value, and which tools are the safest and delivering the most value? And is there one or two that could be moved to, instead of having it be like wild, wild west? So then you can take these use cases and start to understand how the tools can leverage against future things, creating efficiency, helping your folks do more in less time, presenting more value to the client at the end of the day. At that point in time, it's about containing it. It's about saying, okay, now we understand where it is in our organization. What safeguards do we need to put in place? So you pull out that charter again and you update it. And you say, hey, we understand these to be the risks of using these kinds of tools, and therefore, for Oasis's case, we're amidst right now going through some of that discovery. We'll define which tools are Oasis approved, and begin to subscribe to them as a company, and start to unify our approach to AI, but always keeping our minds open to what could be possible and new tools that come in. So pull out that charter again and take a look and make sure if it's still relevant. Creating, and then leveraging that against the go-forward strategy, defining what that go-forward strategy might be. And that's what we meant here in the leveraging section. How will AI help the organization? How will it create value? Where can it create efficiencies and more accuracy? Maybe inside the operation, certain data is super important to have exactly accurate. I mean, what data is worth that isn't has worth that's not accurate? I get that, but maybe streamlining the way it comes into the system. How do we clean up data? That kind of thing. And then for Oasis, it'll be about how do we do one small initiative? I've heard this being suggested by a lot of really smart AI folks who have been involved in it as it has emerged. Pick one initiative, a meeker initiative internally, and go make it happen. Leverage AI as you understand it. If you've got to get partners and other folks to help you learn more or expand your abilities inside of it, great. Take that one initiative and put it all the way to the end of the line, and put it into the business and see how it has helped you. A lot of folks think that that technique will inform almost everything else you want to do inside your organization. It will create context that you can then apply to other initiatives, and your learning profile just shoots through the roof at that point. The strategy. Based on that exercise, you could then expand that strategy. You could say, oh, there's a lot more we can do of it now that we understand what we've just done, or say, whoa, holy crap, this is really powerful. We need to think about this a little bit more clearly. And then finally, and this leads me into the next section here, leveraging these tools, leveraging AI in other places, not just like organically inside your organization, but where is it sitting inside the tools that you already use? Your vendors are out in their laboratories working on AI and embedding AI into their systems. That's no different for Oracle NetSuite. So Oracle NetSuite has a number of different functionalities inside of the product today, all driven around the idea of efficiency by way of data accuracy. I don't have to check this data as much because AI is watching its accuracy. It's checking, it's comparing it against historicals, it's matching it against other documents it expects to match. And of course, expanding the bandwidth. What more can we get done in a given day? And so where is it embedded inside of NetSuite? Bill capture. This is a pretty well-defined area, and one of the first places that I can think of where AI has been making its way into ERP. Learning about previous invoices with a particular customer as an example, and parsing data properly and entering it into the correct fields. Wait a minute, this piece of data doesn't look like it belongs in this field. What happened? Was this a misread? Is there something wrong with this invoice? We can cut off bad data issues before they even become problems this way. PO and bill matching, the three-way match, the gold standard for dealing with POs and the resulting vendor invoices and payments. Those things can all be matched automatically in the background by the AI embedded inside of NetSuite. All of these things, of course, our consultants can assist with if there are questions. NetSuite text enhancements, generative AI, which can generate and refine content based on other data that it sees inside of your system. This could be used in like descriptions for items and inventory. It would speed up the process of creating content inside the system, modifier fields like descriptions and such. Other areas where NetSuite has leveraged AI, and this is just the beginning. We're going to see this moving into probably everywhere inside of NetSuite. Financial exception management, reporting, financials, planning and budgeting, and then all kinds of other functionalities. But like I said, it's just beginning, and NetSuite's pretty far down the road. They're pretty advanced where people in this space are today. So there's plenty to do here with AI, and there's plenty of ways to leverage it. Oasis would recommend that you create your own strategy alongside with the strategy of your vendors, and get your arms around how AI can help your organization in its specific needs and its specific hopes and dreams of delivering value and differentiating itself in the marketplace. We would recommend some sort of guru or leader of the AI initiatives inside your organization. Oasis is in the process of doing that. We've got if you're an EOS company, if you happen to be an EOS company, entrepreneurial operating system company, someone in our leadership team has a rock to define some of those things today, and we're moving through all these steps. And I would just leave you finally, I hope I'm still in good timing here. Yeah, I'd leave you finally in just saying, get your arms around it. It's already around us. If you're sticking your head in the sand about it, oh, it's just going to happen. It'll be fine. It's probably not the best strategy. Let's get engaged. Let Oasis know how we can help you. I'm happy to chat with anybody on the call about what your AI strategy looks like and compare it to ours, or even help you put together your charter. So just let us know, and we're here for you. That is what I have. And so I will pass it back.
Wait, Pat.
Yep.
Speaking of AI, I know I had to use ChatGPT to see what kind of joke it could write for us. So, in the spirit of AI, Pat, why do long weekends never get tired?
Why do long weekends never get tired?
They always get an extra day off.
Come on with that.
So, with that being said, I'm going to share my screen and share this last poll with you all. Tough crowd here. All right. And this final question, define your company's AI strategy. What are you doing right now? Is it sketchy? Is it coming together? Are you locked in? Let us know.
Hey, you guys,
Awesome.
if it's sketchy, if it is sketchy, let's get together. Let's talk about it. If it's coming together, let's compare notes. I'd like to hear what you're doing. It might inform how Oasis moves forward too. So
Someone's
let's
locked down.
see.
I like that. Do you see that, Pat? They're locked in.
Yeah, I saw that. I see it. I like it.
That's great.
Well done.
All right. Okay. So we're going to end this poll here, share our results. Seems like we're a little sketchy. Seems like some of us are coming together, and we've definitely got some who are locked in and thriving with their AI. So that's great. As Pat said, he would love to chat with you about AI. Up next, we get to introduce you to some of our lovely optimized support agreement clients here at Oasis. And we're going to talk about optimizing beyond your software. So if Matt Klein from S&K and Beth Rose from Integrated Security Solutions would join me, give them a moment to hop on here. Hi, Matt. How are you? Oh, you're on mute. Hi, Beth.
Oh, there. Hello.
There we are. Hello, guys. Thank you so much for taking your time this morning to answer some of our questions and share your experience here with Oasis with others who have joined this user group today. To kick things off, Matt and Beth, Matt, we'll have you go first. Would you please give a quick introduction to S&K Industrial along with when you implemented NetSuite and when you actually went live?
Yeah. So thinking back, I think I had that as a note.
I think
Yeah,
it was
so
2019 before COVID, right?
yeah. So we first implemented in 2018, and we used NetSuite as an integrator. That didn't work out as well as we had hoped. After a couple mergers and acquisitions, we reintegrated NetSuite again, using a different partner, and it went much better. That was in about 2020. I think in 22 we started working with Oasis, and that's when we really started to have a lot of leaps in process improvements and starting to automate several processes. Also, we started doing a lot of bolt-ons, like we did the Brex. They just talked about. We did Avalara. We did a lot of internal automation, reporting, and job costing work, as well as customization of internal records and projects and many other features. But we've been working with them, obviously exclusively for 3 or 4 years now. I think in 24 we joined your master service agreement as an MSA client, and that really helped a lot more than I anticipated it would. Just having not only a resource for my team to be able to go to support issues, but just being able to constantly work on projects and action items that we want to do to improve our environment. So if I answered everything.
Yes. And Beth, would you please share an introduction of Integrated Security Solutions with us and your journey to find Oasis with your NetSuite implementation?
Yes, certainly. I was looking this up before, and we actually went live with NetSuite on September 3rd. So like in a few days in 2021, so almost 4 years. Similar experience with Matt. We did professional services to try to take us live. It was exhausting and almost didn't take us live. So very frustrating type of environment there. Oasis rescued us from the fires of implementation. So appreciate that. And we've been with you guys ever since. I mean, we're down in Nicholasville, Kentucky. We have 43 employees. We've been around business 26 years. We're a family-run business here. We do commercial video surveillance, so not residential. And we're in over 30,000 retail locations across the United States. On average, we process about 400 invoices a week. And we have a call center here in Nicholasville, Kentucky, and we handle about 1,000 calls a week as well. So NetSuite is our only ERP. Before we had QuickBooks and FileMaker on premise. So now if it didn't happen in NetSuite, it didn't happen.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, and I forgot to describe what we do, but we're an industrial machine builder and integrator, and as well as industrial supplier. So we kind of have two sides of our business: one that builds custom automation, and the other one that does distribution. So similar to what Rose said, we do about 1,000 to 1,200 invoices and bills a month on either side of that. So a lot of volume for us. So that's where NetSuite really helped us become scalable as an operation, not having to add a headcount every time we hit a growth milestone. We were able to maintain headcount and be able to scale.
Love that. Love that. Beth, I'm going to put you on the spot first. You ready? We got our softball questions out of the way. Here come the Barbara Walter questions. Can you share how your team has been using journal entry approval workflows in NetSuite and what impact that has had on your processes?
Sure. We do use journal entry approvals to align us, of course, with GAAP requirements, but we've also leveraged that workflow to educate other departments on when and why a journal entry took place, so that we can evaluate our processes that led to that journal entry. So overall, it's led us to understanding more upstream processes around affecting other departments that might cause more work, but also basic accounting principles from other departments outside of finance and how it impacts our overall business. So every time I actually get an alert every time there's a journal entry, and there's like a little memo on there. Some people say I might be too close to the processes, a little micromanaging, I've been accused of, but it's been super helpful to say, why are we doing this? And let's focus on this as a process improvement for us and really help other departments understand up and downstream consequences of actions and inventory and other items.
They're really getting to see that ripple effect now.
Yes.
Love it. Love it. Thank you. Matt, your team has recently gone through a subsidiary merger from Bluegrass Tool to S&K Industrial. Can you share how Oasis supported through that process and what that transition was, how that transition was managed within NetSuite?
Yeah, so our main revenue streams is really divided into mainly into two different organizations. So started this year, we made it our initiative that we wanted to merge our Bluegrass Tool and Industrial with S&K Industrial, which both were sitting as a separate P&L, but in the same environment in NetSuite. So some of the things that, when we approached Robin and Oasis, we asked them to help us put together not only a solution or a package solution on supporting this merger, but kind of a roadmap forward on what needs to be done. So they were kind of our NetSuite arm amongst a team that we put together, and they worked closely with us. But in their scope, they managed. I'm just going to read my list here. They helped us merge all of our customers and vendor subsidiaries. So that was key for us, having two different companies that worked with the same end users. We didn't have the ability to lose our historical transactions. So we needed some method that we could retain all of those historical information and put them together in the same customer dashboard and on the customer tiles too. So, and then it was like customer contacts, vendor contacts, merging all that, removing the duplicates. Like I mentioned earlier, consolidating all the historical transactions. They supported us to merge all of our financials and onto one P&L. One of the biggest things that was kind of tricky was, so at any time we typically have anywhere from, I'll say 700 to 1,000 orders open at any one time. And we have 3 physical locations for each, or 4 physical locations for each company. So any order that was left open during the consolidation process, we were just going to go ahead and wash out from the company, let those slowly bleed out. But we needed to maintain all the inventory in those warehouses. But everything that wasn't allocated to an order needed to go ahead and move to our be consolidated into our S&K inventory warehouses in NetSuite. So that was a big lift for them to be able to do that. You know, and then recreating the roles, permission levels, helping us out with any of the trainings and revisions that we needed to make on any of our SOPs, and basically to help support all of that through the sandbox, allowing us to really just drive it straight in, basically overnight, into our production environment. So it was a big help.
And we did it relatively fast.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, it was. We're going to come in and knock this out.
Yeah, we set a 90-day goal from when we started. When we made the decision, we said we wanted to be go live on July 1st. So back in March, we called Robin and said, "Hey, I need this figured out in about 2 weeks, and we're gonna send out communication to all of our customers and vendors announcing it." And then we worked on a 90-day transition plan. So yeah, it was a little hectic, but it went very smoothly. So
I think, like, to that point too, because you guys, because S&K is an optimized support agreement member at Oasis, we were able to prioritize that project for you and meet that timeline, because we've got that deep relationship. We understand your strategy. We've seen the analysis, so we knew what it would take and how to get it done in that timeline. So.
Yeah, and I'll say one thing that also I think really helped us and Oasis be able to execute this was back in, I want to say it was mid 24. We had the team come in and do a full audit of our entire processes, sit with all of our operators, go through every one of our SOPs, walk through basically soup to nuts how we run NetSuite, so that they had a very, very deep understanding of how our environment works for us and how we've customized it and why we've customized it that way. So when we made the request of, "Hey, we want to do this and we want to do it quick, we need your help," they already had intricate knowledge of all of our automation that was already set, you know, any custom scripting they were aware of. So if anyone is interested in doing any type of big, I'll say big lifts, moves, mergers, acquisitions, etc., before you get there, I would highly recommend doing that audit, because that is really what, in my mind, allowed us to maintain our schedule without any surprises or big hiccups.
Thank you for that. Yes. So, all right, Beth, back to you. Are you ready for it?
Yeah. I thought that was a great plug, Matt. That's really cool that they did that. I was like, kudos to you guys, like 90 days. You really set the bar.
Yeah,
Thank you all for the kind
we're-
words.
I'm not a very patient person. I think everyone in my organization would say that. So when we
Know
make our mind
thyself,
up to
right?
do something, it's game on. So
Intense.
All right, Beth, could you share how your team is using bulk merge mailing automation in NetSuite and how it's improved your communication and efficiencies at ISS?
Yes, certainly. So before NetSuite, using the QuickBooks on premise, right? We emailed our vendors manually throughout the day. So, you know, we have a large business. We have a network of installers across the United States, and we're handling all these tickets every day. So you can imagine the emails going through, right? So we would send 250 emails a week to various vendors at all hours of the day, right? So it's like constant barrage of work. But now with the bulk mail merge, our vendor partners know that at 3 p.m. each day, they're going to get all the tickets to work in a standard format. And we also implemented a standard format for emergency work so that in their systems, they can take those emails in and they can sort them properly, right? They also can focus on other things, and allows us to focus on other things. You know, we're not having to constantly work that email beast, right? So on our vendors end, they can process those emails more efficiently and systematically for them. We know that the system is just going to take care of it for us. Putting it in that standard format also allows for like OCR type of activities on their standpoint, allows them to like pull it into their systems without having to spend money on a larger kind of integration. So that's really helped us.
I love that. I love that. I'm going to keep it to ISS real quick and I have another question to you.
Okay.
Put you back on the spot. Can you also walk us through your process from close an invoice to invoice and refund in NetSuite, and what improvements did you see of it?
Sure. So our biggest gain has been from managing returns, both RMAs to our manufacturers and from equipment we send to our technicians. So a lot of times we're dispatching, as I said, all over the United States. And so sometimes we're sending more than the technician actually needs so they can get the job done in one trip, very efficiently for the customer, cost effective for the tech, because we don't like return trips, right? We want to be there one time and get it done. Sometimes that means shipping more equipment than you need. But with what we did with Oasis and with NetSuite, it was eye-opening for us how much product was being unmanaged and unreturned. And so now we have visibility into billing our vendor partners for unreturned equipment, actually resulting in about $500,000 of unrecognized revenue. They were not super happy to get those invoices in the beginning. Not super happy, but man, it's tightened up now. Nobody wants to be writing this check.
$500,000 unrecognized revenue. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. From
So
this
that
process.
was
I
huge.
love that.
That was huge. Yeah. I mean, we shipped a lot of equipment. So
yeah. I love that. All right, Matt, I've got an easy one. You got your hard question. Now you got your easy one. What has been one of your favorite NetSuite tips, tricks, or shortcut that Oasis has introduced to SNK or to you?
One that I didn't mention last time we talked was adding bricks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Not to just drop a plug in
why
there.
bricks?
We were using traditional credit cards like Chase and with our banking infrastructure, and those companies just aren't set up for like mobile reporting and other options. So we were constantly requiring our sales team and field operators and everyone who has a credit card purchasing to stash all their receipts and then pass manual paper. And it kind of got to a point, like I went back to trying to figure out how to scale our business. We're having, stacks and stacks, we probably have 40, 50 credit cards and then when we had multiple companies too, add that. So then you're doubling it. It was just too much. People were literally, it was taking an accountant a week or two to sort each of the transactions and then allocate them to whether or not they were going to be costed to a project or they're going to be costed to a GL account. however we needed to allocate that. But now, if you haven't used Brex before, when you spend something on your card, it texts you, and then you take a picture of the receipt and then add a quick memo, and you're done. There is no more expense reporting. You throw the receipt away, or you don't even take it. So that's been huge. I think the other one was the well, I'll say two other ones. Freight consolidation. So we use sticky notes. I don't know if that was discussed, but well, one, if you don't have sticky notes, get sticky notes. But we were using sticky notes to track and log all of our incoming and outgoing freight costs and for a project. And for a large project, we'd open up a sales order and there might be 60 to 100 sticky notes just on freight bills. So I got
sticky notes aren't really sticky notes when there's that many.
Right. The whole screen was covered. You couldn't even see what the sales order was.
That looks like my desk.
Yeah. So they helped us out and build us basically, like you could almost call it like a small Excel table, where you could add a little transaction. It went down on one of the tabs in the sales order, and it just it tracked all of it, gave totals. I mean, it's huge help. That, and I think the last one, just to be brief, is the file drop.
Drag and drop.
Yeah, the drag and drop. That's awesome.
That's always, everyone gets so excited about that one.
Yeah, but sticky notes, I think I'm going to go back. That is the best thing ever.
Except when there's 60 to 100.
Except that, yeah.
I'm looking into
Beth.
it.
Same question. Like, what have been some of the tips and tricks, shortcuts that Oasis has been able to introduce to you and your team?
Yeah, I mean, we use that drag and drop pretty religiously. That's really helped with, record keeping and historical record. People can't say it's too many clicks now and all that. I mean, it's super easy to do that file drag and drop. One of the latest things that I've found through one of the WebExes that I've done with Kate at Oasis, plugin for Kate, is showing me the imported statement list portlet. So we have a couple of different bank integrations that we use, and some of them have been a little suboptimal with bringing the transactions over. And so she showed me how to install that. It's called an imported statement list portlet, so that I can monitor the bank feed transactions. And we got a couple of things fixed lately, so I might be able to put that portlet lower down on my screen now. So I appreciate that. One of the new things that Oasis has done for us lately is help me create like an SLA dashboard for one of our processes, which is quote to approval. So, we've been hearing some rumblings internally that it was taking too long for our sales to get quote approval. We have 4 different business areas that it needs to go through to get approval, not sequentially. So some are just at the same time they can get approval. So they built us a lovely little safe search that literally says that, the sales rep sent it for quote approval at this date timestamp, and this is how long it took the other departments to check off. So it's not as long as they thought, but all sales guys think it takes too long, right? And we have SLAs on our
sales guys
to turn it around in 24 hours, right? Because we want to get those quotes out. We don't want to have a delay. And this takes it from an emotional response to a factual response. So that's really been helpful.
Okay, good. Well, thank you guys both so much for taking a few minutes to just share your experience about NetSuite and with Oasis and how we've been able to strategize with your teams and grow your NetSuite, I'm going to say love and your strategy. And thank you for allowing us to be part of this journey as you guys can both continue to grow. I did want to ask one. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I have one more statement. So I have a joke. Why did the accountant love NetSuite? Because it was a cruel world out there. Follow along the
I
joke.
absolutely love it. Yes. I love it. Did you use AI for it to keep
No,
in with
I
our
just
theme?
Googled it.
I
just
love
totally
that.
Googled it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I did have one, like my last question for you both, both being longtime OSA, so our optimized support agreement members at Oasis, and you, what has been your favorite part of that agreement? I know, Matt, you mentioned that audit, which is like our on-site analysis, and some projects we've done, but like overall, like why do you continue to be an OSA member with Oasis?
Beth, you want to go
I'll let
first?
either of you. Sure, yeah, Matt, you're on the spot. I'm gonna give back.
Matt, you can go first.
Oh, I got the torch. Okay. I'm gonna go back and say the prioritization that you talked about. When I'll reiterate my lack of patience. When my team members have an issue, and they are trying to get a transaction closed or having an issue or something with Avalara, I take it very seriously and it's a big goal of mine to remove any obstacle from my processes and from my team members downstream. So I can quickly message Robin or whoever it is and just say, hey, we need a ticket. I need this. I need someone on this. And within minutes, sometimes someone's already in the environment looking at it and trying to figure it out with my team. So, I mean, that type of response is, for me, it's key, because me having someone sit around trying to figure it out for an hour, 2, 3 hours, we don't have that extra time in most of our positions. So yeah, that's where I'll be.
I'm gonna pause you two real quick, Beth. We actually had a question come in for you, Matt. So a little more detail, if you wouldn't mind. In the 90-day goal that you set for SNK, roughly how many customers were merged, how many allocated items, and roughly how many employees were we talking about involved in that project?
Our organization has about 65 employees. The customer side, customer vendor, we're probably around 3,000. Vendors were probably maybe around half that, maybe 15 to 1,800 on the vendor side. What was the other part?
Allocated items.
Ooh, I don't know that.
Okay.
I'm gonna assume thousands.
Got
Well,
it. Thank you.
maybe even tens of thousands, because yeah, I mean, we have some work orders that are open that have 1,000 line items on them alone, not to mention just odds and ends inventory. And they were all in different stages of inventory too. Some were like in work in process, some of them were allocated, some of them were already fulfilled. I mean, it was all over the board. But
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, Beth. Why do you continue to be a part of the OSA membership at Oasis?
Yeah, for me, it was just as simple as, you know me. You know our company, you know our processes, and I can't say enough about the response. I would put a plug in for the new customer portal that you all kind of announced.
Yes.
Love that. Love that.
You're able to see all your tickets.
I can see all my tickets, not just me. I can see all my team's tickets, because you know all the tickets don't need to come through me, right? They can be delegated. They can put in their own things, and now I can see the tickets across my company. I can understand where they are, you know. So that's it for me. You know, plus fabulous people, right? You guys are nice. I mean, look at all those awards you've won. I mean, it's totally deserved.
We appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you both again for taking a few minutes, sharing your experience of Oasis and NetSuite. We appreciate the time that you have given us. And I'm going to jump to the next item. So you're off the hook now. Thank you.
no problem. Thank you.
Guys. So just to wrap for today, you all, please be sure to complete all 4 of the polls so you can be entered into our all 4 polls and the survey to enter to win that JBL speaker. And actually, Matt, who is just on here, can speak to that. The speaker's pretty sweet. I know he likes it. There will be an email coming from myself with the survey for today, the link to the recording as well. And if you're interested in learning anything about Oasis, anything about our incredible sponsor today, Brex, and how they're working, please feel free to reach out to me. We also want to thank each of our consultants. So Ryan Balser, Austin Presh, thank you for your time today. Our CEO, Patrick, and his presentation on AI. And of course, our CEO, Aaron, who was able to do that great intro and kick this all off. I am so grateful for your time on this long weekend and hope that you get lots of rest and enjoy this fall weather heading our way. Have a wonderful day. Thank you all.